Hello everyone, bringing you a video today looking at this and the associated items we have on this here. The reason for making this video, I posted a photograph of this on social media a little while ago and it garnered some interest, so I thought it might be worth making a video looking at this, talking a little bit about it, and obviously taking a look at the small kit, the personal items we have laid out here, which are one of my favourite bits and pieces to collect and put together. So we talked about the Vietnam War and Hooch or Hoochie Furniture, and both in US and Australian use, but primarily Australian or Anzac. New Zealanders did do this as well. It was not uncommon for men to manufacture or just scrounge bits and pieces to use as furniture when in tented accommodation, their main basis of operation. Certainly this is not exclusive to Australian troops, the US troops did do this as well, but certainly I've based my recreation here on photographs of Australian practice in doing this. Some of them are quite elaborate. In fact, you can see here, we have a photograph of an example with a rifle rack actually built in. Some other examples here in period photographs. Now, it can be as simple as using a crate, just a scrounged crate, as already said, or in some instances knocking something together which is a little bit more elaborate, as seen in the photographs there. I've done a sort of halfway house in that this could very well just be a crate, but I've put a shelf in the middle here. And this is made from pallet wood. I was sawing up some skirting board the other evening, and while I had the workmate and saw out, I thought, you know what, I'm going to have a go at this. This wood I've had locking around for a while. I picked this up prior to having a space where I could do this, with the intention of making this to add to future Anzac Vietnam War displays. And obviously it rather sets off the small kit and allows it to be displayed. As I say, in this particular example, very simple compared to a lot of those which were manufactured in terms of tables, shelves, cabinets even. Sometimes you see them with doors, but quite innovative, some of the things that were made. This very simple and quite a bit smaller than some you'll see, but ideally sized and suited to provide a bit of a backdrop to displaying soldiers' personal items, accoutrements, in future displays, hopefully. So I've set this up here with a sort of idea of what I want to use this for. So we have various bits of small kit laid out here. We have obviously razor, toothbrush and comb in a tin mug up there, spare razor blades, soap. The tin mug is a little bit archaic from this time period, but certainly in at least one photograph I've seen a chap has a tin mug with his with bits and pieces in it, much like that. So that is replicated off a period photograph. Obviously, the way these things are laid out on the shelf, it's not as they would be in the field, but it allows for them to be displayed. So we've got toothpaste, shaving cream there, a tin of foot powder, Australian issue foot powder, some photographs dotted around. I've had these printed to mirror the size of photograph you'd get from the Kodak Instamatic 104, which is what we have up here, a very popular camera from the time period that was used extensively by troops in Vietnam. And this was very kindly gifted to me by Ian Parker with the full set of bits and pieces in the box there. So that will be part of future Vietnam War displays. On the top there, works quite nicely. And then on the lower shelf here, we have at the back there a pack of Edinburgh cigarettes, which are certainly an Australian, well, available in Australia, a brand that were around at the time. There's a period advertisement on YouTube from the mid-1960s of this hard pack, and then underneath that we have a little box of matches here, which is rather nice. This came in a job lot I bought, and I have several different types. It's from the Red Lips bar in Hong Kong, so arguably it could be an R&R bring back, picked up in Hong Kong whilst out there, so that's quite a nice little addition to the small kit there. The pocketbook, the soldier's pocketbook, this is the second edition of this. Very pleased to have picked one of these up. That's the Reason to Rival, and it's the equivalent of the pocketbook produced for US forces, but obviously produced by the Australian Defence Department for Australian military forces in Vietnam, and it has quite a lot of information in there. So this is probably something that will be looked at in more detail in a separate video going forward. It has the assistance with pronunciation and different phrases and so forth, little phrase book section in there, various other bits and pieces. It does look at enemy weaponry and so forth as well. So an interesting little booklet there, and very pleased to have picked up a copy of that. And then we have some typical paperbacks over the far side there from the time period, including Casino Royale, and then a can of VB, Victoria Bitter. This is an early ring pull. It is a steel can. It still has the contents in fluid ounces. Hopefully you can be able to make out there. Hopefully the autofocus is doing its job here. I can't tell not being behind the camera, but anyway, I believe the ring pulls were introduced in the late 1960s on VB cans, from what I've been able to find out online. Certainly the labelling and everything is right for the later 1960s, and the fact that it's still in fluid ounces, of course Australia was converting to the metric system at this time, so the fact that it's still in fluid ounces would suggest to me it's from that time period. It actually had the contents drained through a hole in the bottom, so the ring pull is intact, which is rather nice. And then of course some more literature, the magazine Pix, which is a popular Australian magazine from the time period, just to complete the sort of small kit layout here. So it's not a particularly in-depth video, just to show you what I've knocked up here, why I've done it, you know, what the historic basis is for doing this, and how it'll be used in future displays going forward, all being well. Hopefully there'll be the opportunity to display at the hangar again with the Huey that's based locally. That would be good, and if not, I'll be interested to put on some Anzac Vietnam War displays elsewhere as well. Planning to do that going forward at some point, because it's fascinating. It's an interesting, I like jungle warfare in general, and certainly Malaya, Borneo and Australian involvement in Vietnam is very interesting to me from that point of view, that Cold War period. Very much all part of the domino theory as well, of course, in Southeast Asia. So anyway, me prattling on here at the end of the video. I hope you found it interesting looking at this, just a result of the interest that was shown and the photographs of this posted up on social media. If you have found this interesting and you'd like to see more from the channel, please do consider subscribing if you haven't already. And whether you're newly subscribing or you've previously subscribed, please do make sure you hit the little bell, little notification button down below, and that will of course alert you when I upload future videos. If you really like my uploads and you would like to support the channel, you can. Both Patreon and PayPal are linked down below. And as ever, a massive thank you to everybody who supports the channel using those two methods. It's greatly appreciated, as I always say. If you'd like to follow the channel on social media, which is obviously where the photos of this were initially posted up, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter are all linked down below. And if you'd like to get in touch, but you don't really use social media, there is of course an email address down there as well. That's everything for this video, so until next time, bye for now.